And once again, as we've referenced a few times in random contexts, to anyone listening to this under the age of 14,
go climb a crane
that maybe doesn't remember as much what it was. And this is when we've talked about this with Bryce Harper too, especially because they came up at the same time, right? But like those two players have spanned and defined our existence in this space of talking and thinking about baseball every day. Because truly, right, when Trout debuts in 11, that's really when it starts for both of us. I mean, certainly for me. I'm not going to speak for you, but like, I mean, I've said this on the show before, but like my baseball fandom, of course, Sammy Sosa was my favorite player when I'm 5, but like I'm not thinking about baseball as like my number one passion and hobby until really high school, right? Really 2010, 2009, 10, 11. And so that since then, all I know is that Mike Trout is at the top. And so we've already started to grapple with this over the last few years as he's gone through. And of course, the most simple thing that is so troubling is how many different injuries, right? It's the fact that we're really filling it up, and that we're filling up the scouting report of, oh yeah, that's a problem, and that's a problem, and that's a problem, and that's a problem, in the way that it used to be, oh yeah, Mike Trout's the best at that, and he's the best at that, and he's the best at that, and he's the best at that. Now it's like, oh yeah, what hasn't he injured at this point? And this is a guy that's still only just turned 32. And I think the comparison to Griffey, while obviously we are not necessarily as qualified to, because again, for us, it's there's some irony there, right? Like we remember a little bit the end, right, of Griffey, and people tell me, and again, for me too, right? I'm a Mariners fan. It's not because of Griffey, and it's not because I don't think Griffey's the coolest person ever, but I don't remember that. I wasn't a Mariners fan when I was 2 and 3. But you understand what he meant, and when you just look at the numbers, through age 30. Griffey's counting stats are even more so just because he played even more and was so consistent from a power standpoint. But on a rate basis, OPS wise, Trout's far beyond WAR. Like he's far beyond. He was in a class of his own. We've said it. You've seen many smart people say it before. Through the age 23, through age 24, through age 25, he was at the top. So that I think we have to accept is over. And now it's just a matter of what happens next. He has 6 years remaining on his contract at $37 million a year. And that's the other big what if, right? Is what would this have looked like on a team that was a little bit better at, building teams?
And that is where my frustration lies today. That Mike Trout's freak body broke down in its 30s is not necessarily a surprise. It feels shocking because of how consistent he was for so long. This is a 6'2", 235-pound Ferrari. Their bodies break down. And so I don't think that is not really where the sadness is. Yes, I'd love to watch him play. I'd love to watch him compete. But it's what he didn't have the opportunity to do. And that is ever win a playoff game. He made one playoff appearance in 2014 in the ALDS, and they lost to the Royals. And the person this morning who should be embarrassed and ashamed is the owner of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Artie Moreno. He had Mike Trout fall into his lap. Now, the people who scouted and helped Mike Trout develop, that is a success story, and they deserve credit for that. Artie Moreno, the owner of the team, does not deserve an iota of credit for Mike Trout becoming an Angel, right? However, he deserves scorn and criticism for failing to help Mike Trout, for failing to give Mike Trout the opportunity. He was popping 8, 9, 10 win seasons for a freaking decade, and his incompetent ownership group kept a revolving door of front offices and did not support them and did not allow that team to succeed. That will be that is the legacy to me that will leave me sad. That we never started. Even Bryce doesn't have his ring, right? But Bryce has his moments. He has his moments, and he has his moments because he was given the opportunity in part by the Lerners who own the Nationals and in part by John Middleton who owns the Phillies to put successful teams around Bryce Harper that gave him the opportunity to have these forever moments. Mike Trout will not have that. We will not be able to look back in 30 years on YouTube and watch iconic Mike Trout postseason clips. And that sucks.